We have our answer as to whether or not the conflict could have been avoided. The answer is yes, if at any turning point the leadership that had the upper hand would have just simply chose to de-escalate. I'd like to think that at some point the Turian police supervisor in charge would have shown up and taken over with a cooler head.
Incorrect.
An uncomfortable truth is that the First Contact War likely wouldn't have happened if anyone but the Turians were investigating Relay 314. The Turian hierarchy are a very militaristic and nationalistic society. I hesitate to say fascist, but there is a huge emphasis on military service, strength and superiority in their culture. The reason they never offered to open a dialogue with the humans after they retaliated is simply because the officers in charge of the task force probably didn't want to. Suffering a defeat at the hands of the fledgling force from Shang-Chi surely resulted in subordinates having to explain to their superiors that they got beat by a navy that has existed for only a couple of decades. Proving to their command that they had control of the situation at this point likely required nothing short of complete subjugation of the Systems Alliance. It's no secret that even as members of the Citadel Council, the Turian hierarchy have, quote, client races within their society, and adding another one by force probably would have actually been received quite well by high-ranking generals, and even possibly by the Primarch himself. It's only when the conflict reaches proportions that ultimately rivaled what it was initially started to prevent that cooler heads began to speak up, and I should hope from both sides, but there isn't really any evidence of that. When the Turians' council liaison came to check up on the progress of the relay policing action, only to be told, yeah, about that, we're going to need to go to war. He probably thought to himself, neat. Only, I can't go back and tell the council that, so maybe we should de-escalate before this gets out of control. No! Our pride is at risk! We love war! Please? It'll be really awkward for me when I have to go into work on Monday and tell them. Okay, and so in steps the rest of the council, and that's that. The First Contact War absolutely could have been avoided with conventional thinking, but the scenario was far from conventional. It was a culmination of 1800 years of events that shaped a policy of overcaution and led two individual factions into a dispute that was nothing more than peacocking in retrospect. So, you know, war basically. Speaking of in retrospect, the true First Contact War realistically was avoided. What the Turians call the Relay 314 incident was never able to reach the heights it could have. It could have resulted in a lot of large-spread devastation and likely the subjugation or even annihilation of the human race, but alas, it never got that far. But what if it was never supposed to?